Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Jill Valley.
And I'm Dennis Bragg. It's been 9 days since a Columbia Falls doctor vanished while skiing on Big Mountain, and there's still no word on the fate of Dr. John Torgerson.
MTN's Jack Ginsburg shows us how the community is dealing with the uncertainty.
On Monday morning, search efforts for missing skier John Torgerson were put on hold after 9 straight days of tracking the suspected area.
Today was a day, the conditions weren't great, not super safe back there in that area we've been searching, so everybody needed a day off to just rest and recuperate, and we'll start back again.
As progress has been hard to make up on the mountain, community members continue to do all they can in town to make a rare and difficult situation a little less hard on the family.
A tree in Depot Park was designated last week to hang letters, notes, thanks, and prayers to John and his family. Valerie Neeland, who works closely with the Torgersons, set up the tree and the supplies. I spoke with her about the community's response in this trying time.
It's turned into such an amazing and overwhelming show of support and love for a family that truly has meant so much to our community for so long.
Neeland also talked to me about how involved John and his wife Sarah are in the Powdered Soul organization that provides youth community members with connections, opportunities, and funds to help them be successful in whatever they want to pursue. Neeland saw Torgerson's passion for community growth in the work he did with the youth.
You're not going to find anyone who doesn't describe him as an amazing physician that went above and beyond for his patient, not out of a sense of responsibility, but because he truly cared about his patients. He truly cared about this community. He cared about the future of the community.
Neeland says although ski communities are aware that these dangers do exist in the backcountry, it has been a wake-up call to many locals who know John.
I've heard from multiple people who have sat down and said, gosh, that could have been me. I could drive up to the mountain today and get in a car accident. What do I need to change in my life? I want to be more like John. And that, I think, is such an amazing sign of a life well lived.
Jack Ginsburg, MTN News, Whitefish.
If you want to donate food or resources, they are still being accepted at the American Bank in Whitefish. The Lake County Sheriff's Office is searching for a 26-year-old man near the SKQ Dam in Polson. Lake County Sheriff Don Bell says they're looking for Kyle Butterhoff. Bell says his deputies, search and rescue, and man trackers have been looking for Butterhoff since Sunday, searching nearby roads and fields, even using drones to see if he walked away. Butterhoff's mother, Cindy Lee, tells us her son has Asperger's syndrome and is a high-functioning autistic man, which she says makes him antisocial. Bell says if anybody knows where he is tonight, to call the Lake County Sheriff Dispatch at 883-7301. Turning now to weather, we're in for a chilly night with some light snow in the forecast. For the latest, let's turn it over to meteorologist Russ Thomas for his first forecast now. Russ.
Yeah, that's right. As we look at the overnight hours, we're actually going to see that sky kind of clear out. We're already starting to see that across the area, and that allows those temperatures to drop off. And here's what we've got for you. Again, you see what we've got going on there with the clouds really breaking up, and that will continue during the overnight hours. As far as our temperatures go, we are looking at 19 Kalispell, 21 in Polson, 24 degrees in Missoula. A lot of teens out there across the rest of western Montana, including 13 Sula, 15 in Phillipsburg. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll take a look at your forecast coming up for the next 7 days.
Thanks, Russ. New at 10 tonight, Missoula City Council hears from pro-vaping advocates tonight as they discuss updating the city's smoking ordinances to ban e-cigarettes in public.
MTN's Augusta McDonald just got back from that meeting and brings us the latest. Augusta.
Thanks, Jill. Dennis, representatives from the Missoula City County Health Department and members of the vaping community both brought their research to the meeting tonight as discussions about the safety of e-cigarettes continue. They're recommending that the City Council adopt an ordinance that adds e-cigarettes to the list of products that cannot be used in public spaces. It would also further restrict indoor use. Health Department staff said tobacco use is becoming normalized again because of vaping and more people are being exposed. They say these changes are in accordance with state law that they say is more strict than the city's current law.
There's substance that these kids are being exposed to that's hard on a developing brain, and basically there's a whole new generation that's addicted to this product.
A brighter, longer, and healthier future has been granted to my friends, my family, my loved ones, and myself because of vaping. Myself, along with everybody else, a part of the e-cig vapor juice store family, wish to share that vision with our fellow Montanans and as many people as we possibly can.
The council had originally planned to make a decision tonight about the ordinance, but they sent the recommendations back to committee for more discussion. The possible restrictions will be discussed again next week. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Augusta. Missoula's original smoking ordinance came into effect in 1999. In court news tonight, former Grizz football player Beau Donaldson will remain free despite violating terms of his parole from a high-profile rape case more than a dozen times.
Missoula County Attorney Kirsten Pabst argues Donaldson's suspended sentence should have been revoked. MTN's Connor McCauley reports on the judge's decision.
Beau Donaldson will remain a free man despite the county attorney's attempt to put him back in jail. In 2010, Donaldson pled guilty to rape, and Judge Karen Townsend sentenced the former Grizz football player to 30 years in prison, with 20 of those suspended. He then served 3 of those years before being released on parole. Missoula County Attorney Kirsten Pabst filed for a petition to revoke Donaldson's sentence after he violated his parole numerous times. One violation included Donaldson's access to social media, which he violated multiple times.
On August 24th, the probation officer learned about violations 13, 14, and 15. That he was again on social media, that he again had a smartphone, and that he lied to them this time.
Another violation stems from Donaldson's inability to be in establishments whose primary goal is to serve or sell alcohol. He had violated this parole numerous times and admitted to being in our bar and others around Bozeman.
August 23rd of 2017, we have violation number 11. He'd again been going into bars. In this particular instance, he had been in the Midtown Tavern, and his explanation was that he didn't know that that was a bar.
Donaldson violated a litany of other conditions, adding up to 16 in total. Judge Townsend ruled that despite these violations, she could not send Donaldson back to prison because of a new law that limits a judge's discretion when it comes to breaking conditions of a sentence.
The court will dismiss the petition to revoke and remand the case back to the department for further supervision of Mr. Donaldson's behavior.
Donaldson will get another chance, a chance that angers his victim, as she believes he has had too many to begin with.
One slip up, and in a case like this, it isn't going to take much. He'll be brought back before this court, and the court can again sentence him to whatever sentence they deem appropriate under the codes of Montana. I feel like you've had that slip up multiple times.
Connor McCauley, MTN News, Missoula.
Judge Townsend recommended stricter alcohol testing as a condition of Donaldson's latest release. When you think of Flathead Valley cuisine, sushi might not be the first thing that comes to mind.
But an accomplished chef has brought his kombu'd Kalispell. MTN's Nicole Miller goes on special assignment to see the raw talent of Chef Tony and finds out how he's bringing a piece of the sea to the big sky.
Sushi is all about perfection. Like you're not gonna get that perfection right away, but it might take a lifetime to build up to it.
Tony Train has been working on mastering the perfect bite of sushi.
Been doing sushi for the past almost 10 years.
The 34-year-old says he learned the craft from his master, an authentic Japanese sushi chef.
Keep it simple, so that way you can taste the purity of the product itself. Like our rice has to be a certain way, our fish has to be a certain way, and that's it. We don't try to get the products competing against each other. We want the products to work the way it is, and that's the beauty of it.
3 years ago, Chef Tony moved to the Flathead Valley. He says he tried the sushi, but something was missing.
The choice of products wasn't there in this valley, and that's one of the key of the ingredient of opening a sushi restaurant. You have to get the right rice choice, you have to get the right fish choice, you have to have all the right ingredients to make, like a perfect bite of sushi.
Chef Tony says he saw an opportunity to bring authentic Japanese sushi to Main Street in downtown Kalispell and opened Blue Samurai Sushi Bar and Grill.
The restaurant is about to celebrate its 1-year anniversary of bringing authentic Japanese sushi to downtown Kalispell.
We did have a very successful year right off the bat when we started, and the main reason simply because I come in and I want to choose all the right products before I open. none of the fish are the same. All fish has its own characteristics, different textures, different flavor. One fish to another have different quality. You know, one can be better than another one.
Chef Tony says fish are flown in 6 days a week, and most have barely been out of the ocean for more than a day.
So different type of fish come in different days. You can't guarantee like when it's gonna come in, you know. We just order ahead of time. So whenever they have a shipment of stuff, and they'll put on an airplane and fly it in here for us.
He says there's a possibility the restaurant could open a second location in the future. But for right now, the goal is to keep perfecting the one he has.
I wake up every day, I compete with myself. I don't compete with any other restaurant, you know. How can I better my food every day so I can better serve the people around here? I don't need to be the best restaurant. I just need my customer, my clients to come here and said, thank you for the good food and we'll be back. That's all I want to hear.
On special assignment, Nicole Miller, MTN News, Kalispell.
Coming up, looks like a little bit of a break here between storms. Russ is back with your forecast in just a minute.
And later, the governors sit down with the president to talk about gun violence. We'll hear what our governor had to tell him coming up on KPAX.